Hello BookTube! Today is Wednesday and that means it is Top 5 Wednesday. Today's Top 5 Wednesday topic is your least favorite books in your favorite series. So for me, I haven't actually completed a whole bunch of series, and the ones that I have completed, I wouldn't say that they're my favorite. There are several series that I'm actually in the middle of that I like more than this, but let's just say of the series that I've finished, my top 5 favorites of those, and which one of them is my least favorite book of that series. So if you guys are interested, Top 5 Wednesday was created by Ginger Reads Laney, and there's links down below of all of the information you need if you guys want to participate, and the Goodreads group and all of those things. But without further ado, let's just get started. So the first series that I'm going to talk about is the Lunar Chronicles series, and my least favorite book of this series is probably going to have to be Cress, which is the third book. And I mean, that is really stretching it, guys, too. I mean, I really liked all of the books, but if I had to pick my least favorite, Cress would have to be one of them. But then again, I really did like Cress for a number of reasons, but I felt like parts of it lagged. But I mean, the Lunar Chronicles is my favorite series of all time, so I really don't want to say that I didn't like Cress, because that's not even a thing. It's just my least favorite of the whole series, and that includes Fairest and Stars Above and all of the different books that are in the series. Cress is probably my least favorite. The next series is the Hunger Games series, and my least favorite is Catching Fire. And again, same thing. I love this whole series, and for me to pick my least favorite is so hard, but if I had to pick one, it'd have to be this one. And I don't really know why, I just think it's the least interesting. I really feel like the Hunger Games starts off such an epic, amazing series so well, and Mockingjay wraps it up so well that, I mean, this one obviously you need it in the series to kind of like connect the two, but it's got middle book syndrome. I feel like it's a little bit slower, and when I heard that they were going to go back into the Hunger Games again, I was really interested in that, and the idea of the Hunger Games and having the different games and the different ways that the Capitol tries to kill these people who are in the Hunger Games is just really interesting to me, and the fact that we didn't get the Hunger Games very much at all, it was a very small part of the story. I was kind of upset about that, so that's the only reason why I would have to pick that this is my least favorite. But again, I love this book. It was really good. It was just my least favorite of the series. Then my next favorite series would probably have to be the Defy series, which is by Sara B. Larson, and my least favorite of that is the third and final book in this trilogy, Ignore. And I really loved Defy and Ignite, which are the first two books in the series. They were just really, really good, and I read them back to back, and I also listened to it on audiobook. Literally, I read Defy, and then as soon as I was done with it, I got Ignite on audiobook as well, and I read them back to back, and they were just so good, and the person who did the audiobook was amazing. And when I read Endure, it was good, but I read it in physical copy. I didn't get it in ebook or an audiobook, and it wasn't as enthralling. I really think what sold it for me was the person who was doing the audiobook. Now, I have no doubt that this series would have been amazing without listening to it on audiobook, but having listened to the first two on audiobook and then the third one reading it in print, it just kind of fell a little more flat for me. Again, I really liked this book and I liked the series. It just wasn't as enthralling, and it didn't pull me in as much as the first two. My favorite series of all time is the Pendragon series by DJ MacHale, and of course it is a 10-book series, so it was pretty easy for me to pick one that I didn't like. And again, I liked it, but there was something definitely that made me mad at the end of this book. The Pilgrims of Rain, which is the 8th book in this 10-book series, and the main character, Bobby, in this story has has like a whole mission, right? Every book has a different mission, but overall it's one big mission, right? And in the 8th book, he gives up on that mission and he walks away from the life that he was meant to live and the destiny that he was meant to fulfill, and it made me so angry. I hated Bobby Pendragon in this book by the end of it. He didn't make this decision until the very, very end, and then, the decision kind of continued into book 9, but the fact that he made this decision in the last third of this book, I like, just, I hated the series, I hated Bobby, I hated DJ MacHale the writer, and I just was so angry that Bobby would walk away from this big destiny that he was supposed to fulfill. And it was like Harry Potter saying, nope, I'm not going to fight Voldemort anymore, I give up, bye guys, like, we're not gonna search for Horcruxes anymore, I'm just gonna go live like a hermit over here by myself. It was like that. That's basically what Bobby Pendragon did. Because if you know, Bobby Pendragon, or the Pendragon series, is my series. Like, I read this instead of Harry Potter because I wanted to kind of do what other people weren't doing. You know, I didn't want to be the, oh, I'm just going to follow the crowd type. I read a different series, and this was it. So this is my Harry Potter, guys. And, you know, so it's just, this book is everything to me. The series is everything to me. I love it. It's my favorite of all time. And for my main character to walk away from what he's supposed to be doing in this book was just mind-blowing, and it made me so mad. And so when I read this, I didn't read 9 and 10 for years. It took me until 2014 to finally finish the series, and the last book came out in like 2012 or something like that. And so I was just very upset, and I hated this book so much. And the last series that I'm going to mention today is the Splintered series by A.G. Howard, and my least favorite is Ensnared. This is the third and final book in this trilogy, and I just felt like it wasn't a good end. It wasn't what I was expecting, and it kind of went real crazy. Like, I guess I should have expected it being Alice in Wonderland. It went really out there, and you know, from having the first two books, I really wasn't expecting that, and the romance didn't go the way that I wanted it to, and it was just super disappointing, and I really was out of love with the series by the time I finished this one. Don't get me wrong, it's still a pretty good series, especially if you're a big fan of Alice in Wonderland. I'd highly recommend this, but I was pretty disappointed with the way that it ended. Again, though, it wasn't bad, it just wasn't my favorite. Alright guys, that is it for my top 5 Wednesday today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!